Rover. Go. Is it going?
Yeah.
Do I look funny in these shorts?
Is this really the time to be asking?
Welcome guys to Cosmic Car Works, and we're back. Not with cars and isolations, just
Isolation's plural.
with
What?
cars in isolation. That was a great series, but we're going to start now with cars in our backyard. I've just made that up. Right, I think everybody knows what this is, this big beast. Range Rover. This is a Vogue, 2004. So yeah, L322 model code for them. 2002 was the first year they made them in this shape. Obviously following on from the P38, and then they stopped this about 2012. So I personally love this shape. I think it's a very, very good looking car. Okay, it's quite boxy, but they do look nice, and I think they've really aged very well, considering this is a 2004 and you could buy one 2012 with not much difference, bit of difference in grills and stuff. They still look really good. So yeah, so we're going to take you do a tour. We're going to show you inside, outside, typical Cosmic Car Works. We're going to talk about issues, things I've done to this one, and what to look out for if you're going to buy one of these, because let's face it, it is a British made over 3-ton 4x4, so they're not the most right. One of my favourite features, look at this, the drop tailgate. Great for sitting. You can, if you had a stool, you could have your meal on here. You know, it's a great place. Great big size boot, really good. But this was a great feature. This was a great feature, the drop tailgate. I think it was really, really good design. So yeah, we like the back end. What are you doing, man? Hey, sit. He's a good boy. You're meant to be filming. Right guys, let's have a look inside, and it's a nice place to be. They're all really well spec'd. This one is the Vogue, like I said. The leather is still soft. Okay, you know, this is one thing to watch out with, because it's so high, you wear the edge of the seat. But this one's not too bad. This is worn a little bit of the paint. That can be sorted, not a problem. Heated steering wheel, not that you need that. This one's got an aftermarket unit in, which actually works quite well, doesn't look out of place. Yeah, it's a nice place to be. Sunroof, DVDs in the back. It's really nice. Let's show you in here, in the back. Now, being aluminium, most of it doesn't rust, but the one things to look out for are on the edge of the quarter panel here. That seems to be a pretty common thing. But really nice, good space in the back, and I think it was well designed, it was well made. You know, you compare this to, like, we check out our video on the Jeep, that's a 2003, this one's a 2004. God, it's like, you know, it's like driving a Rolls Royce compared to the fitting and finishes. So I would, yeah, I think they're great. Great place to be. Yeah, so we're inside the Range Rover Vogue. I think I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things in the interior to look out for. Obviously, the biggest thing with these is make sure everything's working. Make sure the air suspension goes up and down without any issues. Make sure it's relatively quick. If it's taken a long time, then that could be an issue. I'll go into more detail about the suspension, the compressor, and the bits and pieces, because really the Achilles heel, but also the actual sort of, what is it? I would say, this is like the pinnacle of this, is having the air suspension being able to go up and down. But it's also its Achilles heel. So I'll talk to you more about that, what to look out for. But check all the switches work. The one thing on this one, which is what we've done, is the key down here. Sometimes can get very stiff, and this one we've actually fixed. There's an actuator in here, and sometimes it can be a pain to actually start it and then remove the key. So if you're having that issue, there's a cable which actually connects to the gear selector. Relatively easy thing you can pop this all out, so it's not a hard thing to do. And also, if you're struggling to get it out of park, that's also an issue. There's a little lever. Now, in an emergency, if you battery's died or you can't get it out of park, there is a black lever. So you pop this off like that. It's a black lever. It needs to be pushed up, and that will enable you to move it. But check that out, make sure that all works. It is, we've done a few of these, so it is something to watch out for, like anything. The other thing is make sure sometimes these steering columns don't adjust, because they do set to your height as you get in and out the car. So make sure that goes in and out. Yeah. The other common thing, which is a really, really common thing, you get this on the BMs, similar style dash of the era. You get all the pixels going, and we'll get a shot of that so you can see. But the pixels, now there's a little ribbon cable in the back of the clocks, and it's quite, you can do it yourself, but it's quite a difficult job. Once you do it once, though, you'll know how to do it. So you can get a replacement cable, and you don't have to solder it. You can get non-solder pressure ones, which work quite well. So I'll put a link in the description of who I use. But if you're missing pixels, we'll put some just to show you the difference. This one is, you can read the range, the mileage, everything. But if you're missing pixels, you need the ribbon cable. So that's pretty much it in here. Make sure the sunroof works. Sometimes they can be a bit sticky. Lubricate the tracks. But other than that, if you own one of these, you probably want to do the work yourself, or at least know if there's a problem, what the issue is. I am going to recommend, I'm not sponsored by these guys, bought this with my own hard-earned pennies, Lynx Evo. It's a Britpart Diagnostic. They send you the dongle, and you get the app on your phone, iPad, whatever. Really good, quite comprehensive for the L322. I've been through a lot of other machines, and especially things like the suspension. You can set and calibrate the suspension with it, so it is really good in that respect. And you can just literally plug it in and find out what the issue is. So Lynx Evo, I'll leave a link in the description if you need it. I will do a review of this just so people know, they can see what they can do with it. But I highly recommend it. If you've got L322 or any Land Rover in the family, get one of these and you won't regret it. Right, here we have the diesel TD6, 3 litre TD6. Yeah, not the quickest engine. It's heavy, it's sluggish, it's very agricultural, but they've been making this engine for a long time. You had it in the BM, and it's reliable. I recommend. I think the TD6 is good. A lot of people, don't buy that. It's horrible drive. but I think they are very reliable, and combination in this Range Rover, I think they're good, and the used prices at the moment are very reasonable. So I would definitely recommend the 3 litre TD6. If you're really not too bothered about fuel economy, get the V8, because that's the big boy, but that's a whole different kettle of fish, and I really think that this one is definitely worth a punt. If you need any how-to, I've got a how-to on the fuel filter for the TD6, and I've got one coming out for the PCV filter, and also the air filter. The air filter is sometimes a bit of a tricky thing to replace on these, so yeah, check them out if you need a how-to, or you just need an idea that you're going to do it yourself and you want to see how it's done. Check it out. I'll try and put it up here somewhere.